Hi, and welcome back to the episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today, finally get to the very important episode that a lot of people have been finally waiting for, is the remaining of the top 30 animes of the 1980s. And today, we're going to cover the last year, 1989, and we're going to go over some of the titles in that one. And then once we finish, we will then have completed our top 30. So it's really good, and exciting that we're going to finally get into complete this and make the list. Now, there's lots of titles on there. It's only a top 30, and there's already a good number of titles. So there could be a quick big mix up in the current number of titles on there. So it's definitely going to be challenging because there's a good number of movies and OAVs that come out in this year. So it's very good. So before I begin actually going through the titles, again, I want to remind people to go down below, click like, click subscribe. That definitely does help the algorithm. Just if you could just at least leave that, and leave a comment about a particular video, that'd be really great. It really just helps YouTube algorithm work. If you also want to support me financially, I also have the super thanks button activated, as well as the PayPal and Patreon links down below. Again, that really does help out. I really appreciate that. I got some extra episodes coming out. Once I get the anime giveaway taken out, also that gives you, for all the sponsors and also the people who are all subscribers, you get first pick on the anime giveaways. And I'm still doing number 5 right at this present moment. So again, if you haven't had a look at that, do check it out. Right. Today's topic is the final completion of the top 30 for 1980. So again, I've already gone through every single year and broken down all the significant titles in both TV series, movies, and OVAs. And now I've gone through every single year and taking those titles and basically making a top 30 and basically swapping the titles in and out all throughout. And now we're finally down to the last year, 1989. Once I complete this one, we'll have that list there. So this is really, exciting to get to, finally done all that. And after maybe we complete that, I'll continue on to next year and see what we got. Okay, but right now, let's concentrate on 1989. Okay, so without further delay, let's begin. Okay, we go back to our list again. Here we have on the left-hand side, the top 30 titles for the entirety of the 1980s. We have, of course, the TV shows and the movies, which we've already done. And, those are on the previous episodes. So today's episode, we're going to concentrate on the OAVAs. Okay, so that's the center column down the left-handed database there. On the right-hand side, that's all colorful, is basically the My Anime list that I've done. And we've gone through all the years, all the way from 1980 all the way to 1989. And so now we're on the very last year, 1989, and we're doing the OAVAs. Now, the big significant thing that you can see about the graph is that there is a significant number of OAVAs for 1989. Indeed, there is 56 OAVAs for this year. So, this is only a top 30. So obviously this could really, really shuffle what's going on here. Okay, so we go down the list here, and we go to the section for 1989, and we've got 1989 broken into 4 different sections here. And the middle column again is the OAVAs that are the most significant ones, according to the My Anime list, that have some sort of significance that we should look into. And then we're gonna see if we can compare these ones and determine whether or not they do belong or do not belong in the top 30. And we just go quick run through the titles here. We have the Legend of the Galactic Heroes, the Gunbusters, Gundam 080. We have Riding Bean. Now, of course, Kenichi Tsunoda stuff. Cypher, Midnight Eye Goku. We have the Orange Road OAVAs, which will be now the Mugen Hakute OAVAs. We have Crusher Joe OAVAs. The Rhea Galforce, so the new intermediate series for Galforce. Borgman Midnight Gigs, which is the music video. Gunbusters, the mini science lesson. So usually, again, every Gunbusters has those little small episodes which explain the science behind the episodes. So there. Second quarter of we have more Legend of Galactic Heroes, more Gundam 080. Curse of the Undead Yoma, SD Gundam Mark II, so the Super Deformed Gundam second series. We have Ricky O, Crusher Joe, more OVAs of that. Cleopatra DC, the OVAs for Samurai Troopers. Fuma no Kajiro, all right. Explorer Woman Ray, and the special Lupin OVA, Lupin the Third, Bye Bye Liberty. Okay, so that's the second quarter. Third quarter, we have more Gunbusters, more Gundam 080. We have the next series of Bubblegum Crisis, Megazone 23, very, very important OVA release at this particular time. Angel Cop, Bao, Guyver, we have Shin Captain Tsubasa, soccer thing there. We have Legend of Lenmar, one of my favorites from the so-called Breast Man, and the next one for SD Gundam Charged Counterattack. We have Blue Sonnet. We have Ariel, which is a really popular one there. High Speed JC, Cinderella Express, Borgman Last Battle, which is the last episodes for Borgman, and Shin Wataru. And in the last quarter for 1989. We have more of the Shin Captain Tsubasa. We have B-Boy. We have the first series of 80's. Midnight Goku, the second volume. We have the fourth part of Project A-ko. We have Sigard. We have Assemble Insert, maybe the same guys who made Pat Labor. We also have Suten Doji. We have Demon Hunter Yama. Galforce Earth chapter, so the next rendition of Galforce. More of the Samurai Troopers OVAs. We have Aim for the Ace final, so the conclusion to the tennis anime. We have Dog Soldier. We have Darkness of the Sea, Shadow of the Moon, Lock the Superman, Dan Cougar, the Burning Epilogue, which is the ending part of Dan Cougar, and the Shurato recaps, which is the summary episodes for Shurato. So let's see if any of these ones fit into our rankings and see how that works. Okay, so I'll go down the list and do the easy ones. Okay, so the ones that are sort of already on the list somewhere else. So then that includes things like, Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I already have that listed under the TV series. Orange Road is also already listed in the TV series, so those are both relatively easy to do. What else is under TV series? We have Samurai Troopers, the OVAs. Obviously, they suffix the TV series, so again, that's also listed in the TV series. So we can pass that one. Borgman Last Battle. Obviously, this is the final battle. Essentially, episodes 36 onwards. To help finish that series. So again, that's already listed in the TV series. And the other two is obviously the Dan Cougar epilogue, which is again the conclusion ending part for the Dan Cougar after the God Bless Dan Cougar movie. So that's already in the TV series. And the last one obviously is the Shurato recap. So again, for the TV series Heaven Wars Shurato, these are basically best clips or important parts of the show, all kind of summarized in one sort of video. So again, that's already included in the TV section. So those are relatively easy ones to do. The other ones that are also done, obviously, are for the ones that are done for movies. So I've already got the Crusher Joe, the OVA. I've combined that with the Crusher Joe, the movie. Okay, so that's already the movie section. The SD Gundam and the SD Charged Counterattack. Okay, so the Super Deformed versions are also in the movie section for Gundam, so that's fine. I've listed Lupin the Third Liberty with all the other Lupin the Third movies. So again, we just add that as one of the movie section. And the last one was obviously going to be for Project A-ko 4. We already have Project A-ko 1, 2, and 3 already listed in the OVAs, so we just add 4 to that one there. So those are the quick ones that I'll get rid of. Those ones really easily. Now we'll get to the much harder ones. Which ones can be needed to be added, and which ones need to come out. Okay, so we'll go down the OAV list, and we'll pull out, let's say, the 5 sort of bottom 5 of the top 30 here, and then we'll sort of compare the ones that we got on the new 1989 list, and see if they would qualify to replace them, and slot them up. So going down the list, I would see Dream Hunter Rem. That one suffered because of the fact that it never really got a good translation, and I think even if it had a translation, it'd be probably a mix between a Magical Girl Show and like Devil Hunter Yoko or something. It's just it didn't quite sort of hit the mark either way. So so that one definitely is in the bottom 5. Next one would be the Samurai. Very, very. I mean, if it was written by Rumiko Takahashi, it would probably be part of the Rumiko World series, but it's not. It's like, kind of a predecessor of like maybe like Inuyasha or something like that. But if it was Rumiko Takahashi, and so that suffers as just being a one-shotter. It's not really that significant. So let's see how that one fares. Next one would be probably Battle Royal High School. Even though the the artwork is of that kind of style, I mean, I know it's a very it's a very kind of a masculine drawing type of thing, but there wasn't much consistency in the plot, so I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some definitely titles that will be more worthy on this list than that one. So that's definitely in the bottom 5. Let's see, Cosmo Police Justy, even though it had a really good comic line and that kind of stuff, great soundtrack. I really like the ending theme song of this one. But again, this one also suffers for not having any translation. I think maybe overseas, possibly, but again, it came very much later. And so, even though it is a classic for this particular time, it did suffer for just not having a translation. The plot was not that hard to understand. And the last one would be probably Salamander. Again, a video game that also has the based on this one as well. Definitely good artwork again. The Mikimoto. The writers, brings you like Macross and whatnot. Obviously, he was very influential in this particular time because he's got a lot of stuff he's got his hands on, as you'll see. But yeah, because it doesn't have a translation, and even though it had pretty nice artwork, even things like High Speed JC and that kind of stuff, was really good. But it just, that was probably its downfall there. All right, so now we'll go through and we'll figure out the 5 titles that have at least better than these guys, and then we'll replace them in the top 30. And just going on the list, the first title, of course, is Gunbusters. So again, another right off the bat, Mikimoto. Got his hands on this one. With the help of Gainax. Clearly is a really good anime. Arguably, probably is in the top 10 for the 80s for sure. So definitely that's got to be in there. So that can easily replace Dream Hunter M. Next one would be Gundam 0080, the OAVA series. Now again, for a lot of people, in terms of Gundam's short OAVAs, this is a really good classic thing. Again, artwork from Mikimoto. I mean, this guy is has basically got his hands in just about everything in the late 80s here. I guess this is his dominant decade for sure. So again, artwork by him. In the Gundam concept, really good. This is actually probably about one of the best portrayals of, in the Gundam franchise, the use of children and the effects of war on children. So it's really nice in that sort of respect. So I think it's a definitely again none of those candidates for our top 10 in the 80s there for sure. Okay, so next one is Riding Bean. So, Kenichi Sonoda, right? The guys that bring you Bubblegum Crisis. Also very, very significant in the 80s here. Brings you Riding Bean. A good classic, definitely for sure. and definitely does belong there for sure. I know a lot of people do really enjoy this series, and again, really good artwork by Sonoda. So yeah, so definitely that as mediocre as the title as Battle Royale High School, Riding Bean definitely deserves a spot in there for sure. Okay, so the next series is going to be Gal Force. Again, Kenichi Sonoda. He does all the Gal Forces there, and again, great story. This is another continuation of that particular franchise. So a lot of sort of iconic looking like characters from the first Golf Forces are in there. So definitely, this definitely does belong on the list when you compare it to like Cosmo Police Justy or something, right? And the last one would be Legend of Lenmar, right? Okay, so as I like to abbreviate him as the Breast Man, Satoshi Ushihara. He does a lot of stuff. At this particular time, he did Plastic Little. He also does the character design for the Langreaser. And of course, that came out on the Sega Genesis as a war song over here. So very very significant artist again. But yeah, so yeah, when we talk about the battle of the artists like Mikimoto versus them, definitely just because the Lenmar had a translation, I think that would be a good super replacement for Salamander. So those would be the 5 that you would replace and put into the lineup, and then we'll make those changes and we'll look at the next 5. So now we're taking the next sort of 5 worst titles that are on the top 30 now. And now we're pairing it to the next sort of top 5 down on this list of OAVs for 1984. So it's going to get a little bit harder as we're going to have to meet in the middle somewhere. But this one's still relatively easy to do. So against the top 5, we look at the first one. We have Cosmos the Pink Shock. Definitely a really nice OAVA. No, there's no story, but I mean, it is done by the guy who does the character design for X01 and Dangayo. So Hirano's work is really popular, and I really do like his his way that he draws the female characters and that kind of stuff, like X01 and like Mia. But again, so this is sort of his cross between doing that and Cream Lemon titles. But again, when you pit it against something like, for example, the story of Ease, I really got attracted to that game, when playing on the PC Engine slash TurboGrafx. It was really, really a good story, and when the OAVA came out, I was really happy, and we did the fan subs for that one. Really, really liked the ending theme song on that East, so it was really, really good. So definitely, East, deserves a place in the rankings there. So that's a good swap out. The next one is Megami Tensei. Of course, a lot of people on, for example, the PlayStation and that kind of stuff, and know that they, might have played the game for Digital Devil Story. But the problem with this one is that at the time it had no translation. And I know that even when I remember renting my first copy of Digital Devil Story, I thought the story was really interesting. I just didn't understand what was going on, but it was a really interesting, anime with interesting graphics. But again, it really suffered for the longest time for just having no translation. So when I compare it against something like Guyver, which had a much wider appeal. I remember when I was, also at the same time going to the, to a comic book store. And they had comics for things like Area 88 and Psychic Girl Mai and that kind of stuff. But from that same company, they had Bio Booster Guyver. And so again, even when I did first get my first copy of Guyver, I already had the comics, which sort of gave me the background for that. So again, Guyver was quickly adapted. It got commercially released. And so again, that one is a logical choice for that. The next on the list is the Galaxy Express 999, the OEVA. Not to get confused with the movie, because they did make a short OEVA version. And I'm putting that against Ariel, the all-around intercept and escort lady. Hilarious anime. I remember Daisuke really liking this one, and we did the fan subs for this one. It was really, really nice. Again, has the advantage of having a commercial release. The Galaxy Express 99 OAVA, of course, they released, as a longer movie version, so it's logical to eliminate the shorter OVA version with the longer movie. So that's a worthwhile switch. Okay, next one on the list is Kizunoi Butu. Now this one was put on the list because it's done by the guy who does Crying Freeman. Okay, and again a little bit racy because it has the several several scenes and that kind of stuff in there, and very very controversial at this particular time. But again, it suffers from the same problem like most of these other ones is, and that is it has no translation. I mean, you could figure it's it's very similar to the Crying Freeman type of thing. It's just guy happens to be a football player, but again, it suffers because of that, right? So then when I compare it against something like Assemble Insert, a fun OAVA series done by the same guy who does the Pat Labor series, you can tell certain kind of character designs and that kind of stuff. It kind of reminds you of Commander Goto, and so definitely that's an easy swap out as well. Okay, so the last one is the humanoid. Okay, so again, in this era of these, the sexy robot, right, from Sorayama designs, this is really, really common, like things like, Space Cobra, obviously, and whatnot, you all use this sort of idea as well as, in the humanoid. Now, the humanoid didn't really have much of a story. It was a one-shotter. So when I put that against something as good as Angel Cop, now again the time difference wasn't very much between the human and the Angel Cop. That's only a couple of years, but the animation quality, the storyline, that again I guess the roughness and the dirtiness that you see in the Angel Cop was really, really influential. A lot of people really, really got into that storyline. So again, I'm pretty comfortable, swapping out the humanoid for Angel Cop, because Angel Cop definitely does have a position in that. So that will deal with this set of 5. All right, so there we have now a good completed list. This is probably one of the most sort of comprehensive lists that actually looks into each of the different titles and that kind of stuff, and not a list just built out of favoritism and titles that personal tastes and that kind of stuff. I tried to be more objective and look at how these values and that kind of stuff are on this list. So, anyway, we will continue on the next video when we get more of these videos done. All right. So, until next time, I will see you again.